All right, my friend. Take a deep breath and prepare yourself. Are you ready? I'm not sure what there is to be ready for. After all, this alcohol is little more than tap water. It could not stun a fly where I'm from. But I suppose it's only fair to give you the chance to prepare yourself. Very good. Those are fighting words. There is a warrior's heart in you yet, my friend. Very well. If you're certain. We drink on 3. 1, 2, 3. Drink. Another victory under my belt. No surprise there, of course. Oh, don't look so ashamed, my friend. We have been doing this for months now, and you still barely reach halfway down your mug by the time I finished mine. Not a terribly threatening display of prowess, but it matters not. You are a thinker, as we have discussed. You make up for your lack of liver with a wealth of mind, and that mind of yours has certainly made us wealthy. Wealthy indeed. Why, if it weren't for you and the various artifacts we have uncovered, I would still be wandering aimlessly, moving from town to town, dungeon to dungeon, without a purpose other than survival. Just surviving. Which I suppose is what we're still doing now. But with you, I can actually enjoy it. Even with your pathetic liver. Barkeep! Another! Something stronger this time. I want to feel like an orc has struck me across the skull. And I do speak from personal experience there, my friend. I tell the truth. How dare you doubt me? Why, it's how I got this scar right here across my eye. Do you see? Have I not told you this story in our time together? Well, my friend, that is something I'll have to correct. Prepare your ears. 'Tis a story with action, with blood, with murder. So how is it different from the other stories I've told? That is an excellent question. It is different because I have not told you this one yet. Yes, you cannot disagree there, can you? Now, silence your tongue. Allow me to refresh myself with this beverage. And I shall tell you the tale of the Green Riders on the Black Hills. Everyone's a critic. I would like to see you have come up with a better title. Now, will you allow me to begin? 'Twas a dark and stormy night, fairly typical for the Hills of the Blades. They are not a pleasant place. What was not typical, however, were the Green Riders moving across them. Green is an uncommon colour upon those hills. Any grass that lies upon them is long since dead, so the orcs riding atop their dark warg beasts stood out like sore thumbs. They rode from settlement to settlement, and farm to farm, killing whoever they found and taking what little supplies survived their rampages. But they did not kill to survive, you see. They killed for sport. It's not a mindset we Blades are completely unfamiliar with or unsympathetic towards. But the orcs had made one large mistake. The settlements, as you might have guessed, were in our territory. The people living there were under our protection, So as soon as the clan heard of these greenskins moving across our lands, killing those who lived there, we sent a small group of our greatest warriors to track them down and end them. I was one of the group's leaders, as you might expect. My experience is legendary after all. But I was accompanied by a battle brother of mine, named Cuttle. What's that, my friend? Ah, yes, Cuttle was a very good friend of mine, a mighty warrior. Though we are not related by lineage, we had an even stronger bond, as we were tied by the blood we have shed in war. I speak about Cuttle in past tense. I am not familiar with this phrase. You will explain. Ah, I see. Yes, I no longer consider him a friend. Once my views on the Blades became apparent, they were one of the first to force me into exile, in a manner of speaking. But stop distracting me. This is my story. I will share what I wish to share. Now, where was I? After days of following nothing but death and destruction, we found the orcs in the middle of a feast. They'd conquered the largest settlement not owned by any of the clans, cutting through the few warriors protecting it with brutal ease. As we approached, we noticed the smell of a certain kind of meat, not rare upon the hills, but still uncommon and outlawed by most clans. Yes, my friend, it seemed they had grown tired of the taste of human food and decided to feast upon the humans instead. Your face. It is amusing. So pampered are you lowlanders. Fear not, my friend. I have never taken a bite out of human flesh. Though the smell coming from the village was certainly tempting. I jest. Learn to take a joke. Do they not teach humour at your academy? Then obviously, it's not something you take too naturally. Anyway, we knew the orcs were cowards, only fighting their superiors when their backs are against the wall. So we adopted a method uncommon to us. That being the way of stealth. Despite not being used to such tactics, we took to silence quite quickly, and soon the dozens of orcs that had attacked the village were whittled down to just 3. Whittled. Do you like that word? I learned it from you. Soon it was just the orc chieftain and its bodyguards in the village's centre, and by that point they knew we were there. They called us out, and we answered. 3 against 3, a fair fight. More than they deserved. I took the chieftain, and Cutler, one of the bodyguards. We fought, let me tell you, my friend. We fought until those streets ran red and green, and we could risk losing no more for fear of dying. Have you ever encountered an orc before? Plenty of people have. Very few are able to speak of it though. Only the strongest and most skilled are able to survive against them. To stand up to their feral screams, their mighty limbs as thick as trees. It takes much bravery to even face them, let alone fight back. Thankfully, as you know, I have more than my fair share of that emotion. I rushed at the chieftain, old Brutus here in my hand. The ground was wet and slick with mud, which worked to my advantage. You see, the monster swung its club at me, aiming for my head, and I know what you're thinking. It wasn't that blow that gave me the scar. Such a strike would have knocked my head clean off, I tell you. No, I managed to slide beneath the swing, using the wetness of the ground before plunging my blade into the creature's stomach. Hot green blood oozed from the wound and onto my hand. Any other foe would have fallen from that, but the orc just laughed. It gripped me, raised me by the shoulders, and then struck me across the head. Such a blow I've never felt before or since. There's such power in those vicious beasts. They're far more deadly a threat than most people know. I fell to the floor and blacked out immediately. When I awoke, I was surprised I was still alive, expecting the old grey man, Death himself, to be looking down upon me. Instead, it was Cutler. He had saved me, stabbed the orc in the back while it was focused on me, and kept me from leaving this plane for one more day at least. He'd left both chieftain's bodyguards beheaded behind him. Made the thing look easy. Always was a better fighter. Cutler and I returned to the clan victorious, but the clan's leaders were not happy when they heard what we told. They said what Cutler had done to save me was cowardly, and chained him up. When I tried to help, tried to free him, he acted like everything was my fault. Like I was dishonouring him by breaking the traditions just as he had. I left the clan before they could chain me up too. And now, here I am. Apologies. I did not mean to darken the room. Any more than I already had, at least. I simply am tired, I think. The Blades leaders cling so desperately to their traditions that have long grown outdated. Never did they account for the modern day foes we would fight, nor the threats we'd face. But still they act as if breaking these rules would shatter the very hills they cling to. So, we're trapped. Stagnant, as you would say. Stuck in our ways, outnumbered and overwhelmed by every other faction in this god-forsaken realm. It takes me to a dark place thinking of such things. But I must remind myself that at least for now, I am here, with you. So not everything is so terrible, is it? But if you'll excuse me now, my friend, I think I shall retire for the night. We've had a long couple of days, and my aching body craves not only the warmth of the inn beds, but the release of a good night's sleep. Come, let us venture upstairs and forget such dark tales, even if only for a few moments. And we will reconvene in the morning to plan our next quest.